Another year, another concert. Another video of me glazing what I can only call peak. Come to think of it, all my channel really is just me being a D1 glazer. I gotta just discard all my integrity and go into the drama business. Maybe then I'll have a good upload schedule. But that's not here nor there. Hololive English's 4th concert, Serenskibidi. Huh? Serendipity? How about I serendip these nuts? I really wish I could talk about the life-changing experience I had because of the concert like I did with last year's All For One. Unfortunately though, this year me and the boys were unable to attend in person, and I'm going to be a little salty about it here. The concert happened on probably the worst weekend possible. I didn't even particularly mind that it was in LA, but combine it with the fact that it was happening on God Bless America Day, and you've got yourself an overpriced plane tickets during one of the busiest weekends in one of the most expensive American cities. That doesn't change the fact that the concert itself was absolutely top tier. My general thoughts on the show is that All For One was consistently better throughout, but the absolute peaks of Serendipity are just the cream of the crop. After some hard-fought hours of reconsidering and contemplation, I have narrowed down my personal, totally unbiased top 10 best performances of Serendipity. Thank you Hololive for giving me the opportunity to upload more than once a year. My list is ranked based on 3 things: the actual quality of the performance, whether that be the vocal performance, the stage presence and showmanship, or the choreography, how much I like the song that is being performed, and my personal biases towards certain members. In an actually good YouTube video, the ideal way to rate things is to have the performance be the primary factor, with song choice and talent bias being tiebreakers. If you've watched any of my videos, which most of you probably haven't, like and subscribe by the way, but watch my list guide please, I put a lot of work into that, then you'll know that I don't give a fuck, it's my list. My opinions are always right, and Haku's Bills is gonna be in the #1 spot again like it was every year. But do feel free to give your opinions on your favorite performances in the comments. I love reading about the unending love and support these girls get, even if those opinions are wrong. Once again, like last year, I cannot and will not be showing any paid footage, and will do my best to express my opinions as explicitly as possible with screenshots to supplement the visuals. But as always, anything in the free portion is free real estate. So let's get this list started with what barely made it into the number 10 spot. With so many great performances, deciding what doesn't make the cut is always the hardest part about these rankings. So I've decided I will do honorable mentions this time around to give noteworthy performances a bit of spotlight, and so I can pad out the video length and yap some more, but that will be for later. For the performance that actually made it to the number 10 spot, the big deciding factors were 1. It introduced me to a banger of original song, and 2. I gotta give some love to at least one of the special guests. Swing music in general is something that I have come to realize I don't listen to enough. I know I like swing music because the sax is a go-to instrument, it's just I don't come across it enough to really drive that desire to seek out more. What an Amazing Swing was the surprise sleeper hit of this concert for me. Not only because of the song, but also because of the choreography. It's honestly just so bouncy. I expect nothing less from one of Ian's best dancers, Kiara, and it being Watamei's song, her jumps make it seem like she got some Air Jordans on. Raoul though, I think this song performance has solidified to me that she is the dancer of justice. Alongside her other performances, Raoul really surprised me with how much passion she was exuding when she was dancing. With so much spring in the step of all 3 performers, I knew how to give What an Amazing Swing the rightful spot it deserves as a choreo connoisseur. But because I'm a highly opinionated individual when it comes to Hololive concerts of the English variety, the gaps in my ranking get exponentially bigger with each placement. And as the list goes on, the bias becomes so blatant you'll roll your eyes and say, of course he chooses that. As someone who has a degree in math and is doing absolutely nothing with it, mathematically speaking, Promise is by far my favorite generation, having 3 of my 6 Oshis. Sprinkle in the immaculate charm of Crony and Iris, and you've got yourself a 5-course Michelin star meal. I really love Bei's song Mess. Of fucking course I do. Crony's new song Storm is the perfect song for a concert. and Iris's Berserker hit me with the blast of old age because did you know, this song is 4 years old now. I think the reason this medley was able to make its way onto my list is because Bay, but more for the fact that I've got to come clean. Although I was enjoying the concert up to this point, there wasn't anything that was wowing me quite yet. I enjoyed CCGG Madness and Kiara's solo Martyr, but having seen the performances of Reunion, Start Again, Born to be Battle, and Help in previous concerts diminishes their impact for me. And it's not like I don't like these songs. Help is easily a top 20, maybe top 10 song for me, but this is a bit of a me problem. I would rather prefer songs that I haven't seen performed before. The concert isn't tailored specifically for me, and for fans who haven't seen these live before, they were probably having the time of their lives. I'm just really thankful to the Promise Medley for giving me the hype I needed for the rest of the concert, because oh boy, does this shit begin ramping up. I don't know why Coverhead decided to do it this way, but this year, like during Breaking Dimensions, we had performances of songs outside of the Hololive bubble, which led to some rather unexpected hype moments. I don't know if they decided to make every 2 concerts to be a little spicier, because after looking through the past set lists, Connect the World and All for One were purely holo concerts, while Breaking Dimensions and Serendipity have a few non-holo songs sprinkled in for that extra surprise factor. But although I do love the holo performances, especially the members' original songs, hearing iconic songs coming out of VTubers during a performance is always extremely exciting. Bad Apple wasn't the first non-holo song performed during the concert. That would be When My Devil Rises by Man with a Mission, performed by Callie and Shiori. Although I recognize the style of Man with a Mission's music because they made the banger of an opening to the anime Log Horizon way back when, I was not familiar with their newer music. But if you're even the tiniest bit of an anime fan at any point in your life, you'll know just how iconic Bad Apple is. And Crony and Ina absolutely killed it. Ina's voice is honestly a perfect fit for the song, and Crony's lower range helps add that nice contrast. I won't lie though, this performance is the biggest sign that the rankings in this are coming from someone with zero integrity. A lot of this placement hinges on the fact that it's bad fucking Apple. I could name a few other performances that were better in terms of choreo and stage presence, but counterpoint, your honor, Bad Apple. When Callie and Shiori were performing Man with a Mission, it hadn't sunk in yet that we'd be getting non-holo songs during the concert. This Bad Apple performance opened my eyes to the oh shit, we might get more peak like this from now on. Subtle foreshadowing. But before we get to a very obvious contender for the list because of what was being performed, we gotta remember it's still a Hololive concert. Original songs are the bread and butter of idols and idol fans, and I think it's time I address the controversial opinion I have. I low-key do not vibe with a lot of Advent's original songs, besides maybe Rebellion and Breakout. Unchained is so close to being a really good song, the chorus just didn't stick the landing for me. So it is my sincere apology that I regret to inform you that this year's Advent performance of What Goes Around did not make the list. I know, Advent was robbed again. Absolutely rigged list. Why am I telling you all this? Oh, it's just because Justice made it onto the spot instead. That's 2 points to Justice now. Come on, Abbott, I know you're capable of beating them. You broke out of prison after all. Supernova Supergirl is the performance that I think was brimming with the most energy and joy. Instead of a professional, well-choreographed performance, it felt like the Justice Girls were given the okay to do whatever the hell they wanted on stage, and they just ran with it, having the time of their lives with the audience. Liz absolutely fucking killed it with the harmony and did in fact slay, and the song itself is just a bop. Promise may be my favorite gen from a numbers perspective, but from pure charisma and charm alone, Justice is not that far behind. Woo! Yeah! This concert has been electric so far. Nothing but non-stop hype and bangers to get that blood pumping, yeah? Alright, now that I'm extremely emotionally vulnerable state, what's next on my list?
生き返れないそう思ったベッドの中気づけばカーテンの隙間から朝が生を教えた
Ah, fuck. Would you look at that, another sleeper hit. This time a direct hit right into my heart. I am by no means an expert when it comes to the JP Holo members, but I swear one day when I do learn Nihongo, I'll obtain that elite ball knowledge. For now though, what I can say is that Kanata was and probably is still one of my favorite singers in JP. I'm going to use my girl example from my last video, but I do not think Kanata is the best singer in terms of sheer talent. That moniker undoubtedly goes to Suisei. She doesn't quite have that unique singing voice that stands out like Toa's, but she more than makes up for it in the sheer passion that she emanates every time she sings. Even with the disease affecting her health and holding her back, Kanata always sounded like she was singing her heart out. Unfortunately, reality isn't always so kind and Kanata had to graduate because her health was getting worse. But I guess as a nice consolidation, we were able to get Ina performing Kanata's final original song, Dream a Dream No One Has Seen, and out of everyone in EN, Ina was the absolute perfect fit for it. Those high notes that I know Kanata for, Ina was able to nail them for my pick of the most emotionally gripping song performance of the concert. I wasn't expecting to well up, but by the end of it, I couldn't help but let a couple tears roll. Ina was that great reminder to never sleep on the JP members. I miss Kanata singing a lot, and I do hope that she is doing well and that the certain dragon is taking care of her right now while she figures out what to do from now on. And with that, we once again make it to the top 5, where the bias starts really rearing its head. The majority of the concert songs were on the relatively new side, releasing in roughly the past 2 to 3 years, but there were also a few that really reminded me of how old I've gotten. Cloudy Sheep, Red Heart, Ghost were all made during a time when I was a starry-eyed college student, still oblivious to how jaded I would become in the future. But there was one performance that made me regress even farther back to a time when the worst thing I had to worry about was living in fear of a coat hanger after receiving a B on my report card. The wave of nostalgia that just absolutely ass blasted me when I heard the first few notes of the song, oh my god, the noises I was making would put a monkey to shame. With the very obvious fact that my Oshi Bae was performing one of the bangers that made up my childhood with her wife Iris, it's no surprise that this performance was basically guaranteed to make it onto the list. I mean, what more can I say? Bae killed it with the stage presence and Iris rocked the vocals. Only surprising thing that it only made it to the number 5 spot. Well, unfortunately, although Bears is an iconic dynamic duo, they weren't the pairing that exhibited the most amount of fan service and aura. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, I cannot believe we are watching possibly the closest thing we have to lesbian sex live on stage. I mean, Narissa is literally about to eat Liz out. Blood Raven has kinda already solidified themselves as the gayest to ever do it. It just so happens that the two people in this definitely platonic relationship are also the two best singers in EN. There was basically zero doubt that the performance was going to be top notch. But the fact that they performed arguably the most iconic song out of anime, probably out of Japan as well, just absolutely beautiful, man. I will say though, according to my sources, Hololive, Lesbian Twitter, us stream watchers were robbed of the two women kissing because the cameraman decided it was too fucking gay. So for that, I have to dock points and only put it in the 4th best. The real reason though, Cruel Angel Thesis is definitely peak, but it's also kind of cheating. Same reason Liz's performance of Stella Stella last year didn't gun its way to the top. It's unfair to the other performances. I'm definitely not just making excuses to hide behind my blatant favoritism. Well, with only 3 places remaining, the top 2 are basically decided and the only mystery is who got 3rd and the ordering of the other 2. So let's just get this over with. My pick for the 3rd best performance of the Hololive Serendipity concert is... Wait a minute. Am I reading this right? What the fuck do you mean is Gigi?
Yesterday, a picture perfect girl will grace
Well, it seems that the mystery third performance did a lot better than I expected. We'll get to that a bit later. As for Gigi's solo, in contrast to last year's high energy, get the crowd hype performance of Wonky Monkey. This year, Gigi decided to perform her newest original song, Enough. As is with everything Gigi does, I love this song. Not as much as I'll Still Be Here, but definitely in contention for one of my favorite Holo songs. There is no surprise wow factor like Cruel Angel Thesis or Bae's explosive choreography. Just my endless love and unrelenting support for my GOAT gremlin. I do need Gigi to start making bops instead of making me sad for her originals. My favorite songs in Hololive are the lights off, by myself in bed type, but I need to be jamming when I'm working or gaming, not crying. That then begs the question, who makes it to the number 2 spot? Because if you watch my list from last year, you should already know who made it to the number 1 spot if it isn't Gigi. I've even said it in the beginning of the video. Well, this performance really hyped me up in ways I couldn't even imagine, which makes me continue to regret not being able to see it in person. My pick for the second best performance of Serenskibidi. Hako's Bale's Snake Eyes? Wait, this has to be wrong! I'm not going to lie, before the concert even began, I had already solidified in my head that Bae's performance will be the best one, like it has been for the past 3 years. And when Bae appeared on the stage and I heard the opening notes to Snake Eyes, there was basically zero doubt in my mind that this was going to be my favorite part of the concert. There isn't that same wow factor that the previous years had, where the first time ever seeing the dance choreo would be at the concert. I had basically watched the MV at least 50 times at this point, so Bae's dancing was living rent free in my head. But regardless of that, oh my god, Bae was made for performing. Every day this rat inches closer and closer to the Kamiyoshi territory, and I'm only holding out because having too many makes the term lose its meaning. I do love this rat though, and alongside Gigi, she is the reason I'm still neck deep in this community. We are drawing closer to the end, so I'd like to list some of my honorable mentions that didn't make it. I'm not the biggest fan of Kiara's song Martyr, but I can't deny that she absolutely slayed it on the stage with the performance. CC's performance of Ayame's song of Hanafubuki deserves a mention for how majestic it was. The fan helps out a lot with the elegant choreo, and I think it'll become a yearly tradition that CC decides to whip out a violin solo. Shiori performing Hachima's Red Heart was a bit of a curveball because I fully expected her to sing her original Monsters and Men. But Shiori is a very uplifting of other members, so it's nice seeing a Hachima mention while she's away enjoying her mental health leave, traveling and vlogging. But with all that being said, it's time to address the elephant in the room. We still have one more performance left that doesn't belong to Bae or Gigi. One performance was so legendary that it ended up outcompeting the copious amounts of favoritism I have for my Yoshis. I mean, come on. It can't be that good.
That's right! I'm not just a hero, I'm a time traveler!
Woo! Is this how the lesbians feel? Am I fucking pregnant now? Not even a few performances after Bae's Snake Eyes solo, Liz decides that the predetermined outcome that was set in stone with no hopes of being pulled out was some BS. It turns out, Liz is a descendant of King Arthur himself with how easily she completely overturned that like she was pulling out Excalibur. And it also turns out, the best way to pander to me is swing towards a different Oshi in the complete opposite direction. If you guys don't know, I've said it plenty of times before, but Ami was the one who got me into Hololive and the first in a long lineage of Oshis. Liz, having the heart of gold she does, is always looking about supporting and raising up the other members rather than herself. So when she decided to sing the Amelia Watson song, I legitimately started welling up. I can only imagine how happy Ami was when she found out such a talented singer would be performing her song at the concert. Liz is such a freaking wonderful addition to Hololive, and every time I see her singing, I am blown away by just how good she is. And after this concert, I am legally and contractually obligated, with God as my witness, to have Her Majesty ERB as one of my Oshis now. I don't make the rules, man. My body just instinctively signed the contract in blood because I was having the time of my life. Earlier, I mentioned having 6 Oshis, when in previous videos I've only shown 5. Ami, Fauna, Mumei, Bei, and Gigi. No one would have noticed this except for me, but this was a little bit of subtle hinting that I had added Milord to the ever-growing list. Maybe it's because of her very selfless nature, but it's fucking criminal that this woman doesn't have an original song yet. And before you say it, technically Saltborn is a Liz original, but I feel like it's kind of a separate thing and more of a song for her roleplay character. I know it's ultimately up to Liz to decide, and with her very busy schedule, she might have a hard time doing it. But cover, please, if you grace us with an ERB song to rival the likes of the biggest hits in Hololive, my wallet and bank account are yours. I can't really offer you my life since you already have it, but free money ain't a bad deal. Thank you, Liz, for giving me a performance to remember. I may be a simple fledgling Rosarian compared to the elite lesbian knights of Great Exardia, but I hope you treat me well. And to wrap up this quick video, before I go back to the demise of my more ambitious ideas, I gotta talk about the title track of the concert, Serendipity. I mean, it's aight. Breaking Dimensions is still the undisputed GOAT, but on a first listen and impressions basis, I kinda found that I like Serendipity better than Connect the World and All for One. I think that it's more uplifting sounding and its melody is a lot more cohesive. But after repeat listens, I don't think it was able to beat All for One as the best in-person concert song. Even with me not being in the venue in person, I was able to feel the hype and energy when All for One was performed for the encore of day one. I still like it more than Connect the World, but I'll still cheer for it during the next concert, but I could honestly do without it. But yeah, that's the Serenskibidi concert from my perspective. Extremely enjoyable watch. I hope next year they do more non-holo songs again with songs that are specifically tailored for me. I pray it happens on a better day and location. Hololive English very good. Back to content creation limbo as I figure out how me coming out as a former brony is a good idea. Wait, no, you're not supposed to know that.